Everyone's chasing more information, more books, more podcasts, more courses, and somehow they're getting dumber. Here's what nobody tells you. A strong intellect isn't built by adding more, it's built by removing. Japanese samurai understood this centuries ago through two principles: Shikata, Ganai, and Ma. We're going to break down what these actually mean, why your brain is probably exhausted right now, and how to fix it starting this week. Here's what's actually happening inside your head right now. You're running your brain like a phone with 47 apps open in the background, not because you're stupid, but because nobody ever taught you how to close the tabs. Think about it. You wake up and immediately you're thinking about that email you need to send, that conversation from last week that felt off, the economy, some argument online you saw yesterday. None of this is useful. None of it moves your life forward. But your brain is chewing on it anyway. And here's the part that should make you angry. Society rewards this. We celebrate being busy, being stressed, having an opinion on everything. So you've been trained your whole life to care about things that drain you and give you absolutely nothing back. That guy at work who always seems sharp in meetings? The one who has the right answer while everyone else is still processing? He's not smarter than you. He's not working with better hardware. He's just not wasting his mental energy on garbage that doesn't matter. But knowing this isn't enough. You can't just decide to stop overthinking. Your brain doesn't work like that. You need an actual system to shut those tabs down. That's where the first principle comes in, Shikata ga nai. And it's probably the opposite of everything you've been taught about how to handle problems. Shikata ga nai. It translates to "it cannot be helped." And before you think this is some passive, give up on life mentality, it's the opposite. This is cognitive budgeting, the samurai version of protecting your mental energy like it's the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Here's how it works. Every single day, you have a limited amount of mental fuel. Call it focus, willpower, processing power, whatever. The point is, it runs out. And every time you spend even 5 minutes worrying about something you cannot control, the weather, the economy, what someone thinks of you, something that already happened, you're burning fuel you could have used on actual problems you can solve. Now think about your average day. How much of your mental energy goes to things you can't change? Be honest, it's probably most of it. And this is why you feel drained by the end of the day, even when you didn't really do anything. You weren't lazy, you were leaking. Energy was bleeding out in every direction toward things that were never going to give you anything back. Samurai understood this at a life or death level. A warrior walking into a duel couldn't afford to waste one drop of focus on fearing death, so they accepted it before the fight even started. That acceptance wasn't weakness. It freed their entire mind to focus on technique, timing, reading their opponent's next move. When you stop feeding energy to the unchangeable, something shifts. You suddenly have a surplus. You're calm when everyone else is panicking, and people notice. They don't know why you seem different, but you do. But cutting out the noise is only half of this. The second principle is what you do with the space you just created. Ma. In Japanese, it means the gap, the pause, the space between things. In traditional Japanese art, the empty space around the tree is considered just as important as the tree itself. Not decoration, not laziness, intentional emptiness that gives everything else meaning. Your mind works the same way. Most people consume information constantly, podcasts on the commute, videos while eating, audiobooks at the gym, and then they wonder why they can't remember anything, why they read 50 books last year but can't tell you one idea that actually changed how they live. Here's what's happening. They're stuffing information in, but they never gave their brain room to process it. No space, no silence, just more input on top of input that was never absorbed in the first place. And here's what's wild. The person who reads 50 books but never sits in silence, they're actually less sharp than someone who reads 10 and actually thinks about them, because thinking requires space. And space is the one thing nobody's willing to give themselves anymore. This is why Miyamoto Musashi, arguably the greatest swordsman in Japanese history, spent years alone in caves, not learning new techniques, not reading more strategy, just sitting, thinking, processing what he already knew until it became part of him. When you master Ma, something changes in how you experience the world. You start hearing what people don't say. You see patterns in conversations and situations that everyone else misses. Not because you're naturally smarter, but because you're the only one who isn't drowning. So now you understand both principles. Shikata clears the garbage. Ma gives you space to actually think. But understanding isn't enough. Let's talk about how to install this into your actual life. Starting this week. 3 things. That's all you need to start rewiring how your brain operates. First, the controllability filter. Before you let any problem take up space in your head, ask one question. Can I change this? If the answer is no, delete it immediately. This isn't ignoring your problems. This is triaging. You're the emergency room doctor of your own mind. You don't waste time on patients you can't save. Every morning, every time you catch yourself spiraling, ask the question. Can I change this? Yes or no? If no, it doesn't get your energy. Period. Second, the 20-minute Ma rule. For every hour of input, podcasts, videos, reading, whatever, you give yourself 20 minutes of nothing. No phone, no music, just walking or sitting with your own thoughts. This feels uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is the point. This is where your brain actually encodes information instead of just letting it pass through. Third, the 2-second gap. In conversations, after someone finishes talking, wait 2 full seconds before you respond. Don't fill the silence. Just hold it. Watch what happens. You'll catch things everyone else missed. The thing they almost said. The emotion underneath the words. People will think you're reading their mind. You're not. You're just the only one who wasn't busy preparing their next sentence. Now here's what to expect. Week 1. This feels strange, uncomfortable. Your brain has been overstimulated for years. It's not going to like the quiet at first. That's normal. Weeks 2 and 3, you start noticing lower anxiety, better sleep. Your thoughts feel cleaner somehow. Month 1, 2, you start catching patterns. In conversations, in problems, things other people completely miss. Month 3 and beyond, your processing speed becomes noticeably different. People start asking what changed, and you'll know exactly what changed. A strong intellect isn't about cramming more in. It's about creating space for what actually matters. Think of your mind like water. Right now, for most people, it's constantly stirred up, cloudy, chaotic, reactive to every little thing. But when you stop adding to the chaos, when you let the mud settle, the water becomes clear. That clarity is what shocks people, not because you have more answers than them, but because you're not distracted by questions that don't matter. Shikata ma. Now you know. The only question left is whether you'll actually use them.